Well, it's very important. We know we've established a climate of peace and stability in Europe, but there's a lot of dynamic conditions that are ongoing, not only in terms of relations between countries, but changes in military technology. So as a consequence, we need to build on that which is established. Furthermore, in Europe, though we have very, very low likelihood of major conflict, which was the focal point in many ways of the biggest arms control agreement on the conventional side, the Treaty on Conventional Armed Forces in Europe, there are still several regions that are afflicted by conflict. And so perhaps in future, we need to also look much more hard at sub-regional arms control approaches. One only needs to think about the North Caucasus, region in conflict between Russia and Georgia. Still a lot of friction between Azerbaijan and Armenia as possible focal points where we might now look at sub-regional arms control as a means to maintain peace and stability in Europe. Well, I think one of the obstacles is, you could say conventional arms control is a victim of its success. In many ways, the agreement that we did, the CFE treaty, the biggest treaty again, which eliminated over time 70,000 pieces of treaty-limited equipment, tanks, artillery, armored troop carriers, and the like, and also imposed really intrusive verification and inspection measures, which are now pretty routine, have caused many to say, well, that was so successful, we don't need any more of it. Now it's maintaining that, so raising the level of understanding and the level of appreciation for what we've achieved is perhaps one of the initial obstacles. Second, in terms of getting a large arms control agreement, once again, you have to find that harmony of interests that will satisfy the national interests of 28 countries. Because at the end of the day, arms control is a means to an end of greater security for each sovereign state. So finding the intersections for all those countries are important. We had an opportunity there at the end of the Cold War, whether or not we can still find that opportunity now in the 21st century, it remains perhaps a lot more difficult. And then lastly, like I said, the dynamic nature of the international environment and the security environment here in Europe. We're really now much more focused on security cooperation, or cooperative security, if you will, because we don't have that huge threat of a major conflict. And so we've got to get over that hurdle to some degree as we move along and try to find areas where conventional arms control can be helpful in maintaining peace and stability. Well, it's high on the agenda, but right now, of course, countries are worried about many, many things, and their publics reflect that. I mean, right now across Europe, economic concerns and budget concerns are a major item, a focal point on the public side. In my own country, of course, budgets are a major concern. The United States has been involved in 2 conflicts, none of which were in Europe, one in Afghanistan, which is still ongoing, and one in Iraq. The level of forces that we maintain in Europe is only a fraction of what it once was. Under this CFE treaty, for example, the United States could still deploy 4,000 tanks, to Europe, but right now we only maintain about 45. And consequently as well, the United States and the Obama administration has talked about refocusing and re-emphasis more towards Asia. So with all those things involved, it's difficult to get this issue high on the agenda of policymakers. So that's why I think it's much more incumbent, particularly in organizations like the OSCE, where a lot of countries meet to try to find that harmony of interest that can generate new ideas. I think also what we need to do is to stimulate thinking outside of governmental organizations, in academia and in non-governmental organizations, not only to encourage new ideas that might be appropriate, but also to encourage younger people to pursue a career in arms control that will take them to ministries of defense or foreign ministries in their respective nations all across the continent.